I'm Cyril Jane Verano and I'm going to show you how to play chess. So let's start!
The king may move one square in any direction, so long as no piece is blocking his path. The king may not move to a square that is occupied by one of his own pieces, where it is checked by an enemy piece adjacent to the enemy king. The queen may move any number of squares straight or diagonally in any direction. The only piece that can jump over a piece, be it your own or the opponent's, is the knight. The knight can jump to any square in L shape. This is the only piece that can jump over a piece in its way. The rook may move in a straight line any number of squares horizontally or vertically. The bishop may move any number of squares diagonally. Each bishop can only move on the same color squares as it started the game. The pawn on its first move may move either one or two squares straight forward. After its first move, the pawn may only advance one square at a time. The pawn captures by moving diagonally one square forward in each direction. The pawn cannot move or capture backwards. Pawn promotion: if a white pawn reaches the 8th or 1st with black rank of the board, it must be exchanged. It can be promoted to a queen, rook, bishop, or knight of its own color, but never to a king. En passant: possibility of en passant pawn capture arises when the opponent's pawn has just moved from its starting position to squares ahead and our pawn is next to it. This kind of capture is only possible at this time and cannot be done later. Castling in both directions: the king moves to squares in the direction of the rook. The rook jumps over the king and lands on the square next to it. You cannot castle if the king is in check if there is a piece between the rook and the king. If the king is in check after castling, if the square through which the king passes is under attack, if the king or the rook has already been moved in the game. A king is in check when it is attacked by the opponent's piece. The king can never be captured.
Check.
A king must get out of the check immediately. By moving, the king be capturing the piece that gave the check up by blocking the check with one of the pieces of his team. This is impossible if the check was given by the knight. If the king cannot escape from the check, the position is checkmate and the game is over. The player who got checkmated gets 0 point and the player giving mate gets 1 point. There are 3 possible results in a chess game. If neither side wins, the game is a draw and both players get half a point. A draw is half as good as a win, but much better than losing. The different forms a drawn game are the following. Stalemate: when a player whose turn it is has no legal moves by any of his or her pieces, but is not in check. Perpetual check and 3 times repetition. Theoretical draw: when there are not sufficient pieces on the board to checkmate. Draw agreed by the players. Stalemate occurs when the player who has to make the move has no possible move and his king is not in check. position. Square a1 is always black. The queen is always on her own color, next to the king in the middle. White starts the game. Afterward, the players alternately move. 1. Write the symbol of the chess pieces with capital letters K, Q, R, P, N. 2. The vertical files are marked with 8 letters. From left to right, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. 3. The ranks are marked by numbers from bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The bottom left-hand corner is called a 1, and it's a black square. First, we write down the name of the piece that moves. That is the symbol of it, which is usually the first letter of the word. For example, QD5 means the queen moves to the D file and to the 5th rank. The sign of capture, X example, RxF5 means the rook captures an enemy piece on the F file and on the 5th rank. This order only changes in case of pawn moves. We don't write the name of the pawn, only where it moves to. In case if there is a promotion, first write on which square the promotion is, and the choice of the promoted piece is marked only at the end. For example, D8Q means on the D file, the pawn reached the 8th rank and was promoted to queen. Castle king side, O castle queen side, O check, plus checkmate. Hashtag good move, bad move, white wins 1-0, black wins 0-1 draw. 1-2-1-2. Notation of a short chess game. 1. E4 E5 2. NF3 F6 3. Inks 5F X E5 4. Ch5 plus K is 7 5. Ch5 plus K F7 6. BC4 plus K D6 7. QF5 plus K H6 8. D4 plus QG5 9. Check 5 1 minus